Good morning. This is Doe Mountain in beautiful Red Rock country near Sedona. You can see Woodchute Mountain in the deep background, I think. And I'm going to break here to talk auto anime. Black Magic M66 is a sci-fi mecha OVA from 1987, a fast-moving action thriller. In the high-tech future, the military has some deadly robot assassins, the Model M66, humanoid killing machines that would make the Terminator 2000 jealous. They have strength, speed, agility, plus built-in laser beams. A pair of these units get loose when there's an explosion on a helicopter transporting them. The military goes searching for them out at the crash site in the woods, a mission that's complicated because the robots were activated by the crash. Meanwhile, an intrepid reporter, Sybil, intercepts the military radio chatter about that crash and search. She grabs her camera and heads out to the countryside, looking for a big scoop to film of the secret operation. She finds the recovery site, commanded by a very strict major. The military doesn't want any publicity, and Sybil and her partner are soon detained. At least that lets her overhear a lot of useful information. The military has far bigger problems than a stray reporter to worry about. 2 M66s were shipped with their original test programs installed. The target of those test programs is Ferris, the teenage granddaughter of the wacky robotics scientist who created the M66. When the military finally locates the M66s in the forest, they try to capture them. The soldiers have a couple of devices that generate very short-range deactivation fields and some electronic netting that can temporarily hold back the robot, but deploying these weapons against the M66 may turn out to be more than they can handle. The result of that skirmish is that one of the M66 robot assassins is captured, while the other continues to follow its programming and seek out the unsuspecting Ferris. Sybil manages to slip away from the military in the confusion, and undaunted, she sets out to find Ferris herself, both to get the big scoop and to protect the young girl. From here, Black Magic M66 is very much like the Terminator as it moves into the city. The remaining M66 robot relentlessly pursues Ferris, while Sybil desperately tries to keep her out of harm's way, and the Major's troops try to disable the killer weapon. The M66 takes a licking and keeps on ticking. This is actually a pretty exciting story with lots of action. It starts in the woods where the helicopter crashed, with lots of suspense about where the M66 will pop out next. Then it moves into the city and provides one close call and narrow, not quite escape after another. The principal characters are pretty good too. For a starter, there's the Major, a smart, efficient, no-nonsense commander who runs a squad of well-disciplined troops. It's typical of such anime to make the military either the bad guy or inept or both, but here they're dedicated, tough, and competent. Sybil is likewise an excellent character. In a switch from most anime heroines, she's got some muscles on her frame. She's just as smart, tough, and undaunted as the troops in her own way. In one scene, after escaping the military, Sybil heads to where Ferris lives to follow the story, except she finds the home a wreck, as if the M66 had already gotten there. Sybil screws up her courage to get the story. On the other hand, Ferris isn't very resilient as a victim, fainting rather than helping. Her grandfather is a stereotypical mad scientist. Because Black Magic was made in 1987, you'll notice its future is missing some technology we take for granted today, such as cell phones. This is true in more than one old sci-fi, whether from Japan or Hollywood. Black Magic M66 is based very loosely on a chapter from Masamune Shirow's Black Magic, his first manga. You may recall Shiro was later responsible for the Ghost in the Shell and Appleseed manga. In fact, you can see Sybil wearing an Appleseed t-shirt in one scene in the anime. Shiro's manga has been translated and released in the U.S. in mirror comic book size by Eclipse and Studio Proteus. Shiro did the anime screenplay adaptation and storyboards himself, adapting the military robot M66 from his Black Magic universe and transplanting it into a much simpler, more conventional, futuristic setting. Shiro also co-directed the OVA together with Hiroyuki Kitakubo. You may know Kitakubo better for Blood the Last Vampire or Rujin Z. For a 1987 OVA, the art and animation of Black Magic holds up pretty well. The animation wasn't bad at all. There are several scenes where the camera is allowed to circle or move to follow the action. That may seem commonplace today, but before computers were used to assist animators, that meant redrawing not just the characters, but the whole background to change the perspective from frame to frame. Yes, it still looks a bit old-fashioned, but not fatally so. The soundtrack uses some simple, classical suspense music, with a crescendo suddenly dropping to silence. It's an easy but effective way to build and then abruptly heighten tension. I give the Black Magic M66 OVA 3.5 stars. Despite being half a Terminator retread and, yeah, looking a little old, it provides two characters who are different enough from the anime norm to be interesting. It's full of action, and it often generates excitement. Black Magic M66 was originally released in the North American market by the now-defunct U.S. renditions on a subtitled VHS tape, one of the very earliest such imports in the original language. The license then went to Manga Entertainment, and it's now out of print. Thanks for watching.